Coming up.
Oh, look! Oh,
They don't differentiate.
this lends itself to a bit of control freakery, doesn't it?
It felt like you just breezed through it.
A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water.
I don't know, I think I'll get my coat.
You had me entranced with it.
Let's just try it this way.
Controversial.
I did the gear change at a slightly different point there.
I'm really 795 years old.
It's my natural tendency.
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that?
How do you say that? Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That, sponsored by BritishVoiceover.co.uk, the podcast for voiceovers, podcasters and anyone else with a professional interest in how your script should sound. Now, Sam Boffin, my usual co-host, can't be with us today, so stepping into her shoes on presenting duty is Claire Reeves. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Mark.
Now, today's fun fact about Claire is that this week she went to an audio clean with a sound bath. What on earth is a sound bath, Claire?
Well, that's funny that you say it was an audio clean, because I hadn't thought of it that way at all until you say that. I had never been to a sound bath before, but they've become a bit of a thing locally, so I went. It was a group of people, only four of us, lying on the floor in a very relaxing room. The guy leading the session was playing gongs and beautiful instruments and making incredible sounds that we had to basically just lie there and absorb for an hour and a half.
It sounds amazing. And how did you feel when it finished?
Well, he said at the beginning, look, this isn't going to just feel massively relaxing. This is a journey that you're going to go on. And I was like, oh, yeah. But you do. There was a point in it. Some of the noises kind of trigger things in different people. Look, it depends if you believe this stuff, really. You sound baffled.
I am a bit baffled, but it sounds great.
So all my sound is clean.
Good. I'm so pleased to hear it.
And well, my co-host is Mark Rise, who knows lots about the best holiday destinations because he was the voice of Thomas Cook TV for nearly a decade.
Ah, yes, I got to talk about the Maldives and never go there. Got to talk about all of the best resorts in the world and never go there. But sit in my booth and just talk about them. So I know a lot about them, just never been. I know. Oh, it's scary, isn't it? Well, of course, it's not just us. Every week we invite a voiceover guest to come and share their opinions and their talent. And this week it's the redhead voiceover herself, Natalie Chisholm. Hi, Natalie.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, really well, really well. So, Claire, tell us more about Natalie.
This is a bit like the This Is Your Life bit, isn't it?
It is a bit.
Natalie Chisholm is a British female voiceover with a voice that's down to earth and approachable, through to cheeky and fun. She's regularly praised for sounding natural, chatty and warm, quite rightly so. And her natural East Midlands accent can often be heard too.
She's a former BBC journalist and producer and made the leap into voiceover in 2015 and hadn't looked back. So I have two BBCers in my midst today, so I better watch myself. Natalie, have you got a fun fact that you can share with us?
I have. I am a qualified rugby referee because before I left the BBC, my journey was into rugby commentary.
Right.
No,
Yes,
was it?
Yeah, that was my goal, I think, at the time. And children came along and kind of changed the trajectory a bit. But yes, I'd always gone and watched my husband play rugby, and it was like, well, if you can't beat him, join him. So I became a reporter for the local small commercial radio station, and I used to go and report on the matches. And when I got to the BBC, I thought, I really want to do something more than just be a producer. So I loved the game of rugby. There were no female rugby commentators. At the time, there was one female football commentator, and that was Jackie Oatley. And I thought, why not? I know the game. And I thought, well, actually, I should really get to understand the game a bit more. So I actually went and did the RFU referee course.
Amazing.
I'm kind of glad I changed my mind. I still love rugby. I still watch it and still understand it. So that's really good. But I've definitely chosen the right path now doing what I do.
Got so much respect for commentators, because if it was me, I'd be like, oh, look, oh, God, oh, did you see that? Oh, no, something just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, let's have a look at our first script of the show and ask, how do you say that?
Play How Do You Say That? Now, Claire, you've been working on this first script this week, and it seems like quite a wordy corporate. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, I enjoy a wordy corporate.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things I enjoy because I'm funny like that. I do get quite a lot of them. And I may have mentioned before that I get quite a lot of wordy corporates for sort of infrastructure.
You do. You love an infrastructure, don't you?
Oil rigs are my top favourite. Let's be honest. But railway infrastructure, yeah, we can do that. So this actually falls into that category. And this script came to me from a client in France. So it's really about making it live for an audience whose first language isn't necessarily English. A lot of these words are words that you can associate with those companies. They've got to get those in there somewhere, for the company brand and corporate vibe,
It does feel like there are almost too many words in each sentence.
So breathing's important.
Yeah, just a bit. Natalie, what was your first thought when you saw it?
Well, the first line made me think it was for something else, but I'm sure that'll come across when Claire reads it, or one of us reads it. But yeah, the words, again, for me, it was the structure, the sentence structure. And when you get these sorts of things through, I mean, the words themselves are straightforward and I understand them, but actually making them sound right in the context they're in and the way it's written. I'm really keen to hear how Claire reads this because I know this is something she loves and does all the time, so she's going to be great. So I'm in for the learning experience here.
Unfortunately, of course, Natalie, you and I have to have a go first.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I'm afraid. That's just the way the show works, I'm afraid.
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll sit back and relax.
I'll go first. So I'll make an idiot myself first, okay? Here we go then. For them, for her, for him. Because talking about trains means, without saying it, talking about climate. Because trains must become the backbone of tomorrow's mobility, and have made us dream since we were children. But there's a reality. In a world ever more urbanised, global demand for transport is growing fast. Passenger and freight activity are expected to more than double by 2050. And expectations for green, efficient, smart and integrated whole-journey solutions are hugely increasing. Rail manufacturers and operators must rapidly assess design changes and their effect upon system functionality and performance, embracing rolling stock full lifecycle, from design and verification and validation up to test and commissioning.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
We got through it in the end, but wow.
How did you feel doing that?
It felt like the sentences were too long. It felt like you really wanted to breathe earlier than you could, in a way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, there's not a huge amount of punctuation and there's an extra part of the sentence, at least one extra part of the sentence than you kind of want there to be, isn't there?
Yes, exactly.
I thought you did really well. I thought it made perfect sense, the way you punctuated it, the way you paused. I was going, okay, yeah, he's done that there. Yeah, he's done that. Oh, yeah. And I was going up and down going, okay, that's how you do it.
Did you have your markup pen with you?
I wish I had. Never mind.
I mean, I realised that we've only got the beginning of this script. It was much longer, the script that you originally worked on.
Yes, it was.
And literally, we've only got time for the first couple of paragraphs. But it was an odd way to introduce an explainer, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a very corporate film. It kind of lives in the world of the corporate rather than the explainer corporate.
There is one more question before you have a go, though, Natalie. For them, for her, for him at the top, I'm guessing these are families or people that the film is highlighting, and it's all about them.
Yeah, this is about the people that the trains move, ultimately. So you see pictures of people using transport systems at the beginning. And I think it just it starts it off in a context where it feels quite manageable and quite human. And then that's picked up on by that whole first paragraph about the dreaming bit.
Does that help, Natalie?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, no, that's great.
Go on. In your own time, then. I want to hear this.
Okay. For them. For her. For him. Because talking about trains means, without saying it, talking about climate. Because trains must become the backbone of tomorrow's mobility and have made us dream since we were children. But there's a reality. In a world ever more urbanised, global demand for transport is growing fast. Passenger and freight activity are expected to more than double by 2050. and expectations for green, efficient, smart and integrated whole journey solutions are hugely increasing. Rail manufacturers and operators must rapidly assess design changes and their effect upon system functionality and performance, embracing rolling stock full lifecycle, from design and verification and validation up to test and commissioning.
Good job.
That is a terrible line at the end, isn't it? Design and verification
really
and validate.
hard.
Yes, it really is.
But even that
Yeah.
bit where you go from operators must rapidly assess design changes and their effect upon it, then switches again. There's several switches. My goodness, yeah, that's
Yeah.
tricky.
I noticed the switch right at the beginning, which was absolutely lovely because it was quite bright to begin with. And then you hit, but
Yeah.
there's a reality. And it became much more serious. And you delved into that in your tone beautifully.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do you know what's interesting? The brief for this one, because that sort of tone is lovely, and that's where I would have naturally gone with it. Had I not had the direction to make it, here's the word, punchy.
Oh,
So, yeah.
wow.
And they wanted it basically as fast as I could record it.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So it's been one of those days it's been hot in the booth.
I want to hear it, Claire. I want to hear
yes.
Oh, no. I'm so going to mess it up.
it. I doubt that. I doubt
Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. For them, for her, for him. Because talking about trains means, without saying it, talking about climate. Because trains must become the backbone of tomorrow's mobility and have made us dream since we were children. But there's a reality. In a world ever more urbanised, global demand for transport is growing fast. Passenger and freight activity are expected to more than double by 2050, and expectations for green, efficient, smart and integrated whole journey solutions are hugely increasing. Rail manufacturers and operators must rapidly assess design changes and their effect upon system functionality and performance, embracing rolling stock full life cycle, from design and verification and validation up to testing and commissioning.
Bravo, bravo.
Amazing.
Whew.
I want to take
And
the script
breathe.
writer and producer to one side and go,
Yeah.
you do realise you ruined that by making her go quickly, don't you?
Can I tell you why they wanted it fast?
Because they only had 3 minutes of pictures? What?
Yes, but do you know why?
No.
Because the guide voiceover was
No, don't say it.
AI.
Oh, God.
No.
So there's a whole thing where videos are now being edited
To
to an AI track.
Oh, that is dreadful.
Oh, God. And then they think that's what we've got to deliver. That's how we need to sound.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
But you're delivering the AI read with
With humanity.
humanity.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I live this scenario quite often at the moment.
That is awful.
It's a bit frustrating.
But if you are a scriptwriter or a producer happening to listen to this,
Yeah.
an AI voice won't let it breathe for you because the one thing it can't do is pace.
I'm hugely conscious of landing the lines and the meaning.
Yep.
Yeah.
And cheating that a bit, which means sometimes you can speed up a little bit to add if something doesn't need much, and then you can slow down on the bits that really do need the emphasis. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that is a way that I try and cheat it when I'm mimicking the pace of an AI. But I
Yeah.
will always say, look, I'm human. You have employed me to be a human. So let's do human take on that. And I did breathe in better places, I think, when I did it for real.
I thought you did excellently, but that does explain it, and it explains it in the most terrifying, awful way.
This is why I wanted to bring you this script, because it's so
Yes.
full of little dilemmas, aside from the words.
Everyone listening to this, Claire, will have breathed the same exclamation that we
Yeah.
did, going, oh no.
So the modern world of voiceover is about being given something that's a little bit too long, that's come from somebody who doesn't understand why you can't quite fit that in because the
Yeah.
AI voice can.
Yeah.
And this is part of our modern world of voiceover, isn't
And
it?
doesn't understand why that sounds bad.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
That's
But
the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
when you see kids now, though, they are so conditioned with it. It's on everything they watch, everything they see, that it's normal for them. They don't
Yeah.
differentiate. And it's, I guess it's just an element of education here.
How do you say that?
In the first script there, Claire, we're all feeling a bit down now, I think, after that. I think we need to bring the show right back up again.
It wasn't my intention to upset everyone.
No, but it's the reality, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think
it
that's
is.
it.
It's worthwhile remembering that these are, in fact, real scripts we've been working on,
Yep.
but we've changed names and some details to avoid copyright issues.
Well, it's interesting you say that because actually Natalie's script that you've brought in, we've been allowed to do the actual script, haven't we, Natalie?
We have indeed, yes. Kind permission from the producer. So, this is one of the ones I've been working on. Well, I worked on it a couple of weeks ago. The reason I chose it is when we were going through what the client wanted, and the amount of variations we did was quite something. So because for me, when I first read it, I mean, you could almost... sort of play around with it, and you can't have it too serious, but then you can't have it too silly either, because it could err on the side of, sort of comical, which when we read it, there's maybe a word in there or two that might lend itself to that, which you'll see. I think you and I, Claire, it's fairly safe to say, and probably you as well, Mark, we're audio geeks.
We are,
And-
absolutely.
Yeah,
and a lot of people listening to this are audio geeks as well.
Very long
Yes.
time, and it's just these things that you pick up on, and the person listening to the radio doesn't pick up on that because that's not what they're listening for. Whereas we're listening, go, oh, hang on a minute, they did that like that. Okay. And, wonder why they did it like that. And it's almost like you question.
So, Natalie, this is a 30-second commercial.
It
was
is.
produced by Ali at Maple Street.
It was indeed.
And so, it's called The Ghost Ship. So, it's about a book, an e-book. Let's get Claire to do it, just because then we can talk about it a little bit more. Sorry, Claire, you go first this time.
Okay, then. Right. Going to bring you a different vibe to my last read.
Ooh.
The year is 1621. A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water. They call it the Ghost Ship. Aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate. The Ghost Ship, from best-selling author Kate Moss, is an epic tale of love, revenge, and piracy. Rebellion takes to the high seas in the Ghost Ship, available to order now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
Nice.
I don't know, I think I'll get my coat.
It was a lovely
It
read.
was really nice. It was great, Claire.
Oh, thanks. Probably a bit slow. It's my natural tendency.
We've kept the note within the script, music begins, string folk orchestral. And the script changes after that point anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a beat change.
And you did
there,
that. You did that beauty. The beat change was really nice, and it was noticeable as well. I was looking out for it.
Yes,
as
very
Natalie
much
says,
so.
we're audio geeks.
I thought it was lovely. You could hear the gear change in it, and you could hear the warmth coming through as well, which is lovely. And actually, that was part of the direction I got. So, gosh, you didn't,
Oh, good.
There you go. I should have got something a bit more tricky, shouldn't I? I know, as far as I'm concerned, you nailed it. So it sounded great.
Thank you.
Let's hear from you, shall we, Mark? What have you got?
Oh, okay. Yes. All right, then. The year is 1621. A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water. They call it the Ghost Ship. Aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate. The Ghost Ship, from best-selling author Kate Moss, is an epic tale of love, revenge, and piracy. Rebellion takes to the high seas in the Ghost Ship. Available to order now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yes.
I did the gear change at a slightly different point there, I think.
You went Ghost Ship, didn't you?
The second one, yes, because after aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate, I did it there rather than when the
You
music
did,
began.
yes.
Yep. But good.
Controversial.
Controversial. But it almost seemed like here's the story, here's the voiceover.
Yes.
It's almost another gear change, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they call it the Ghost Ship that says, yep, this is telling us what it is about. Then you've got some description of actually the content. And then you're coming at it almost giving it sort of the whole pack shot thing, aren't you? Here's the Ghost Ship from best-selling author, describing it. So it's interesting. Almost every line in that script is potentially a gear change.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we recorded it, that's what we did. We did lots of different takes, lots of different, variations of very mysterious or a bit more upbeat and then something, sort of very sort of straight down the line narration. And yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those scripts, the more you look at it, the more you can do with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which could send you doolally.
Yeah, it didn't quite do that for me. No, Ali was great. And he goes, it was almost like that train of thought in, being an audio producer going, let's just try it this way.
Yeah,
because
of
it's
course.
that thing where you think, actually, if I just turn it a little bit more to the left or to the right, it could sound so different. And actually, that's maybe what I'm looking for.
Well, unusually for this episode, we've actually got the full finished version, but we're going to get Natalie
luxury.
We're going to get Natalie to actually read it live in the way
Darn
that
it.
she thinks she did it, and then we'll compare it to the real thing.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
It's very sneaky, Mark.
'Tis a bit, isn't it?
Okay. The year is 1621. A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water. They call it the Ghost Ship. Aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate. The Ghost Ship, from best-selling author Kate Moss, is an epic tale of love, revenge, and piracy. Rebellion takes to the high seas in the Ghost Ship. Available to order now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
That's lovely, and there wasn't as much of a gear change as either Claire or I put in there.
Was there
It
not?
was more subtle.
It was much more subtle and fully valid for what we were seeing.
I have a feeling there was something very, I don't know, I got history from it. Why would I
Yeah.
get history from it?
No,
but I could
agree with you.
sense it was
Yeah.
of its age somehow.
Interesting.
I'm not saying they were recording this in 1621 because
That'd be
that would be
impressive.
foolish. But impressive is the word. But I could sense there was almost a historical aspect to your delivery, which hadn't occurred to me at all.
I'm really 795 years old.
I knew it! I knew it!
She's wearing very well.
Claire, would you like to listen to how it was in the final cut?
I'd so love to hear that. Go on.
Okay, let's hear it.
The year is 1621. A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water. They call it the Ghost Ship. Aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate. The Ghost Ship, from best-selling author Kate Moss, is an epic tale of love, revenge, and piracy. Rebellion takes to the high seas in the Ghost Ship. Available to order now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
It's a
Ooh.
lovely commercial. It really is lovely.
And they
You're
put some
much,
lovely
much
effects
stronger
on
on the end than I was expecting.
Yes, the end tag, the call to action,
Yes.
is harder there, isn't it?
It is. And the way that you say
thank
the
you.
first ghost ship is really interesting.
Let's mix it up a bit now, shall we? With the section of the show where it can all get a bit over the top if we're not too careful. It's the wild card section. So let's see if we can approach these scripts in a completely different way.
Natalie, can you pick one of the scripts for Mark, please, and think of a new motivation for him?
Oh, my word. Be
Ooh,
kind.
A new motivation. I will. Okay. Can you do... I'm going to get you to do script 2. But
Right.
can I get you to do
He's
it?
pleased about that.
I am. Oh, no, you could see.
Well,
you
I can
could tell,
change my
Claire. Couldn't you?
mind.
No, don't. No.
I could tell.
Could you do script 2, but could you do it as if you were an animated character? I think maybe see what the script lends itself to.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I'll let you
Yeah.
have a think about that. Go with whatever you feel comfortable with, whether
Okay.
you like, I don't know, whether you like to do gruff, right, all right, I'm a bulldog and I'm going to beat you up. Or, whatever you want to do that kind of you feel lends itself to the script.
All right. Let's pluck one out and see what comes out of my mouth, shall we? It's like,
The year is 1621. A mysterious vessel floats silently on the water. They call it the Ghost Ship. Aboard are two lovers on a dangerous journey to escape their fate. The Ghost Ship, from best-selling author Kate Moss, is an epic tale of love, revenge, and piracy. Rebellion takes to the high seas in the Ghost Ship. Available to order now in hardback, ebook, and audiobook.
You sound like a game trailer. Sounds like a video game trailer that is like a fantasy world.
yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I quite like
That was
that.
cool.
Mm.
I got Scooby-Doo vibes from
Yes,
that.
he had an evil
you were
face
like
in
you
my
were like
head.
the evil guy that
Yeah.
they take the face off and go, and we would have got away
Yes.
with it as well
It
if it
hadn't
wasn't
been for you
evil.
perishing kids.
That's it.
That's the one. Yeah, I like that.
Natalie, you'll go next, but Claire is going to suggest for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do really believe, Natalie, that You've probably done this script enough now, and it's time for you to leave.
Oh, you're mean.
It's time for you to leave the ghost ship
Oh,
behind.
well, thanks. Yeah, okay.
And venture into the world of infrastructure.
Oh, yay.
So let's go there. Let's go with my script that I kindly bought for everybody.
You did.
I reckon what we want is to hear this in the style of a very dramatic murder mystery audiobook.
Oh, good Lord.
Please.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, good Lord. Let's do this. For them. For her. For him. Because talking about trains means, without saying it, talking about climate. Because trains must become the backbone of tomorrow's mobility, and have made us dream since we were children. But there's a reality. In a world ever more urbanised, global demand for transport is growing fast.
That was great. Oh, you're stopping there. I thought that was great. You had
I
me
can carry on if
entranced
you
with
want.
it. No. You had me entranced with
God,
it. That was lovely.
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it so much. I was just, even from the very first words, I was like, oh, I'm in it. And then because talking about trains means without saying, and I just thought, I was just having to hold myself in here because I just was so proper funny.
It's utterly ridiculous, isn't it? It's like that.
Yeah, but brilliant. I loved
you.
it. It felt more... You have a script that's one thing and you have a style that's something else. What are you paying more attention to? I'm paying more attention to the style than the
me
words.
too.
Yeah,
Me too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt
Yeah.
fun. I was kind of imagining a story, which is completely not related to trains, but
I was sensing sort of dark streets and
yeah.
goodness, I never thought that could be some atmospheric, really.
I'll remember to do that on my next audition for
Absolutely, and that's where the
infrastructure.
wild card comes in. Yes, too right. Unfortunately, Claire, of course, you can't put your wild card off any longer.
Oh, I've really tried.
I know. So I'm going to suggest one for you, but I am going to suggest that you do your script. But,
I knew you would.
But because you are both ex-BBCers, I want you to give me BBC 1 o'clock news. Like
No worries.
television newsreader, bam, bam, bam. Because I think that might fit this script. Maybe.
We'll see. For them, for her, for him. Because talking about trains means, without saying it, talking about climate. Because trains must become the backbone of tomorrow's mobility and have made us dream since we were children. But there's a reality. In a world ever more urbanised, global demand for transport is growing. Passenger and freight activity are expected to more than double by 2050, and expectations for green, efficient, smart and integrated whole journey solutions are hugely increasing. Rail manufacturers and operators must rapidly assess design changes and their effect upon system functionality and performance, embracing rolling stock full lifecycle, from design and verification and validation up to test and commissioning.
Sophie Rayworth, move aside. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it, that it is a completely different take on both things. It's a different take on the script, but it's also a different take on the newsreader in her studio, because we could see that, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could follow it completely.
It's interesting because the second half of it that is more trickier was easier in this style than in the corporate style.
Yeah.
Because you're just spitting the words out in a slightly different way.
Yes, indeed.
It felt like you just breezed through it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to play along in the privacy of your own booth, we've put the scripts in the show notes so you can have a try out yourself.
And if you've got any voiceover questions you'd like answers to, and who doesn't, you can send your question for future episodes to podcast@britishvoiceover.co.uk.
And our question this week is, have you, do you, or would you use a virtual assistant? What tasks might they take off your hands for you?
Oh, good question. Natalie.
Yes, a very long list. Yes, if I, Can someone do my accounting, please?
Okay.
Even though it's online, I just need somebody else to do it.
Oh, I know.
Is there anything in your day-to-day workflow as a voiceover that they could do for you, you think?
I suppose there's an element of the marketing, but if you think about it, I find marketing's quite a personal thing, because you're the one who knows what clients you'd like to work with, and therefore you want to research them, you want to make sure that they're a right fit for you and vice versa. So I guess if you trained a VA to do that for you, then that's great, but it's obviously finding the right person.
I mean, you've hit on there. It is all about the training the person to fit within your business, isn't it?
This lends itself to a bit of control freakery, doesn't it? Because we are our own product, and only we really understand what we do, who we do it for, etc. And with the social media stuff, as much as you tell somebody who might know you quite well how you would word something, it's never going to be quite you. And you know I will bang on about authenticity till those cows come home.
Is it something that you would not even countenance then, Claire, in your business?
Not for that side. In all honesty, I've tried hiring a virtual assistant, and I spent so much time explaining how I wanted things that I just thought it's taking more time for me to explain what I want and how I want it done. That might reflect on my communication style and my micromanagement. But I just thought this isn't helping. Yep. This is just frustrating in a slightly different way. And that's no problem with her. She was great. But she just had to deal with me, you know, with all my very specific requirements for how I wanted my business run.
When we had Emrit Sandhu on the show a few weeks ago, he was talking about the fact that he had a Filipino virtual assistant and had trained them up and had several over the years. And it sent me away, and now I have a Filipino virtual assistant who is researching through LinkedIn and through Google and all the various different things all of the production companies in America for me, and making first contact with, you know, with emails and messages that we have pre-prepared.
Yep.
And I'm finding that actually I'm now on the books of a lot of American clients that I wasn't before.
Really good. But are those messages therefore coming from you via them?
I pre-did them. I pre-did them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's massively important.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet to put him in charge of my social media, but that might come as he learns more about me and more about the business. That might come.
And how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like you're not spending time doing that, so you're able to, it's freeing you up mentally a bit maybe?
It is freeing me up, and the point is I probably wouldn't be bothered to do all of that research for all of those companies.
And they're literally global, aren't they? The possibilities of where
Absolutely.
voiceovers can look for work. It's a huge, huge potential source.
Well, let me say a huge thank you to our guest, Natalie Chisholm. Thank you, Natalie. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Oh, it's been great fun. Thanks for having me on.
Don't worry, I will put all your details in the show notes.
Okay.
And remember, the easiest way to listen to How Do You Say That is to say to your smart speaker, Alexa, play How Do You Say That? But you can also subscribe on your favourite podcast platform, and the latest episode will magically appear on your device every Friday. How's that
It will
for
indeed.
service?
Yes, absolutely. We'd also like your burning voiceover questions. What is it about the job, the marketing, the actual read, the audition process, perhaps the dealing with clients that's bothering you?
I know Sam and Mark love reviews, so do give them a review if you feel moved to do so.
Oh, yes, that would be nice. Here's a quick plug, though. When you get a moment, listen to Claire's Fab podcast with Camilla Laxton, all about podcasts itself, called Camilla and Claire Investigate Podcasting. Claire, thank you so much for stepping in while Sam's away. I do really appreciate it. We'll pop all of your details in the show notes too.
Thank you. It's been lovely.
It's been nice to have you. That's it for this week. Again, thanks to both Natalie Chisholm and Claire Reeves. Tune in next week, though, for more scripts and another fabulous voiceover guest where we'll be asking, all together please,
How do you say that?
How do you say that?